How to tell if you're in a state of pre-limerence. So pre-limerence is a state of infatuation where you feel like you have met the absolute love of your life and you're completely elated. You feel like you're on a high. Everything is sped up, and actually your nervous system is sped up here, and what you're really experiencing is anxiety. You become very infatuated with the person and you're just idolizing them. And this is essentially the crush before the crash. So the crush before the crash is an absolute high that you experience because you meet someone where you pretty much feel like they're too good to be true. And they are. They absolutely are too good to be true, because your nervous system, on a subconscious level, is picking up on the fact that this person is not truly available to you and they're going to hurt you. Now, if you look at how they're behaving and what's happening in the situation with you and them, this person is mirroring you. And they're telling you what you want to hear, and everything is seeming very romantic, like as if this is a realistic situation. However, the sign that you are actually in a pre-limerent state, where you will later go into this obsessive state of toing and froing and trying to figure out this whole thing about this person to an obsessive level, it will come later as you become even more anxious about this person. Because right now, when you're in the pre-limerent state, you don't actually realize how anxious you really are. You just feel infatuated. You feel like you're falling in love, and it feels really nice. It feels really positive and feels very warm. And this person is perfect. They are better than anyone you have ever met or anyone that you can ever really remember meeting. You feel like you haven't felt this way in a really long time, and no one can compare to this person. And you start going into future planning and you're completely idolizing, but it's not quite limerence just yet, because limerence is where you end up getting stuck in this state. And limerence doesn't have the high all of the time, because you are also met with, the obsessing, but also the uncertainty. And at this point, when you've just met someone and you're in your pre-limerent phase, you haven't felt the uncertainty yet, and the anxiety hasn't registered, even though it is anxiety. The reason why you're so elated and obsessing and infatuated is actually anxiety, but it's anxiety that hasn't really registered on a conscious level just yet. But the reason why you feel so high about meeting this person is because on a subconscious level, you know that they're not available, and they are giving you a sign that they are going to hurt you and that they're not going to show up for you and they're not going to be available. And they're giving you that sign not by what they're doing, not by what they're saying, because they're saying all the right things. They're on their best behavior. They're very charming at this point. But you just know, because this person is too good to be true. You're too happy about them. You're too elated about them. And you sound a bit like, I would say to other people, you sound a bit annoying, because other people can see it, sense it, feel it. The other people know that infatuation is not true love. True love comes much slower. You get to know people over a longer period of time. You find out what happens after your first fight, when conflict seeps in, when reality seeps in, when day-to-day mundane life seeps in. You find out what this person is really like. Whereas when you're talking about this perfect person, this ideal person that you've just met, it kind of comes off a bit annoying to other people, because other people can sense what you're not sensing. They can sense that it's too good to be true. They can sense that you're idolizing, because you're saying things that are very ideal. You're saying things that are very perfect. Like, oh, I've never met anyone like this person. They're just so nice. They're just so great. They're just so perfect. They're just so understanding. They're just so this, they're just so that. And it's all too good to be true. And it just, other people can sense it. They can sense that you are in an infatuated idolization state. Now, they might not be able to sense what comes next, but I will explain. When someone idolizes someone, it is always met with devaluing. The bubble is going to burst at some point, because when you idolize a person, you are not seeing them as a true person. You're not recognizing their strengths and their weaknesses and their flaws. You are just perceiving them as perfect, which leaves little room for them being a real person. So that means when this person actually shows up in their real shape or form, you end up disappointed, and then you end up devaluing them. What you'd previously thought about this person is not sustained over a period of time. So that elated feeling of infatuation is a very pre-limerent state. And if you're the one who doesn't have as much control over this situation, let's just say you're the one doing the idolization, and it's the other person gets to call the shots in this relationship, that the other person has the control of, as to whether you stay together or not. The other person has, you like this person more than they like you. So essentially everything, the power is in their hands. Then as you start to lose the power, and you start to sense more and more that they're not fully available to you, or that they're not emotionally available to you in some shape or form, because they might stay with you, they might not. That's where you start to go into the true limerent state of uncertainty, where your anxiety really raises and you get very conflicted, and you try to work things out in your head as to whether this relationship can work, and how can you draw this person back in again, and how can you gain more control, and is this person the perfect person for you, and fantasizing about them but not really having them because this person is truly unavailable. So this infatuation that you had been experiencing is short-lived, because the person actually shows that they're unavailable quite soon, and then they move away. You realize that this relationship, this situationship, this person that you're dating is not truly available to you, and you become limerent because you become very anxious and very uncertain and very unsure of the situation. And that's where you go into your head even more. So the start of limerence, the pre-limerent state, feels fantastic. Wow, you have really met the love of your life, or so you think. But it's a very strong sign. If you're obsessing over someone in the beginning, it is a very, very strong sign that if you're susceptible to limerence, you might be on your way in to a very limerent state very soon.